Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
A knot with two loops and loose ends, used to tie shoelaces. Bending the head or body or knee is a sign of reverence or submission or shame or greeting. An appearance by actors or performers at the end of the concert or play in order to acknowledge the applause of the audience. Something curved in shape. Yield to another's wish or opinion. The government bowed to the military pressure. Bend one's back forward from the waist on down. She bowed before the Queen. Front part of a vessel or aircraft. He pointed the bow of the boat toward the finish line. Bend one's knee or body, or lower one's head. He bowed before the king. A decorative interlacing of ribbons. A slightly curved piece of resilient wood with taut horsehair strands, used in playing certain stringed instruments. A stroke with a curved piece of wood with taut horsehair strands that is used in playing stringed instruments. A weapon for shooting arrows, composed of a curved piece of resilient wood with a taut cord to propel the arrow. Bend the head or the upper part of the body in a gesture of respect or greeting. He bowed before the king. Play on a stringed instrument with a bow. A knot with two loops and loose ends, used to tie shoelaces. Bending the head or body or knee is a sign of reverence or submission or shame or greeting. Showing an excessively deferential manner. Managing the bow in playing a stringed instrument. The violinist's bowing was excellent. Bending the head or body or knee is a sign of reverence or submission or shame or greeting. The act of obeying, dutiful or submissive behavior with respect to another person. An appearance by actors or performers at the end of the concert or play in order to acknowledge the applause of the audience. Electrical conduction through a gas in an applied electric field. Something curved in shape. Form an arch or curve. Her back arches. A continuous portion of a circle. Yield to another's wish or opinion. Take on duties or office. Accede to the throne. To agree or express agreement. Yield to another's wish or opinion. Hold back to a later time. Yield to another's wish or opinion. Consent reluctantly. Yield to another's wish or opinion. Hand over formally. Put before. I submit to you that the accused is guilty. Accept or undergo, often unwillingly. Refer to another person for decision or judgment. Accept as inevitable. Make over as a return. Make an application as for a job or funding. Refer for judgment or consideration. The lawyer submitted the material to the court. Yield to the control of another. Turn from a straight course, fixed direction, or line of interest. Movement that causes the formation of a curve. Bend a joint. Bend your knees. An angular or rounded shape made by folding. A bend of his elbow. Cause, a plastic object, to assume a crooked or angular form. Bend the rod. Form a curve. The stick does not bend. Curved segment, of a road or river or railroad track, etc. A circular segment of a curve. A bend in the road. Bend one's back forward from the waist on down. Diagonal line traversing a shield from the upper right corner to the lower left. A town in central Oregon at the eastern foot of the Cascade Range. Change direction. The road bends. Bend one's back forward from the waist on down. He crouched down. Sit on one's heels. The act of bending low with the limbs close to the body. Basin for holy water. Small porch or set of steps at the front entrance of a house. Bend one's back forward from the waist on down. The young man stooped to pick up the girl's purse. Debase oneself morally, act in an undignified, unworthy, or dishonorable way. I won't stoop to reading other people's mail. An inclination of the top half of the body forward and downward. Carry oneself, often habitually, with head, shoulders, and upper back bent forward. The old man was stooping, but he could walk around without a cane. Descend swiftly, as if on prey. The eagle stooped on the mice in the field. Sag, bend, bend over or down. The rock stooped down over the hiking path. Near or toward the bow of a ship or cockpit of a plane. The captain went or forward, to check the instruments. Front part of a vessel or aircraft. Situated at or toward the bow of a vessel. Front part of a vessel or aircraft. Cylinder forming a long narrow part of something. A slender or elongated structure that supports a plant or fungus or a plant part or plant organ. Stop the flow of a liquid. Stem the tide. Linguistics, the form of a word after all affixes are removed. Thematic vowels are part of the stem. A turn made in skiing. The back of one ski is forced outward and the other ski is brought parallel to it. Front part of a vessel or aircraft. Cuz to point inward. Stem your skis. Grow out of, have roots in, originate in. The increase in the national debt stems from the last war. Remove the stem from. For automatic natural language processing, the words must be stemmed. The tube of a tobacco pipe. Get into a prostrate position, as in submission. Bend one's knee or body, or lower one's head. Soft lump or unevenness in a yarn, either an imperfection or created by design. Tangle or complicate. Something twisted and tight and swollen. Their muscles stood out in knots. A sandpiper that breeds in the Arctic and winters in the southern hemisphere. A hard cross-grained round piece of wood in a board where a branch emerged. The saw buckled when it hit a knot. Any of various fastenings formed by looping and tying a rope, or cord, upon itself or to another rope or to another object. A tight cluster of people or things. A small knot of women listened to his sermon. Make into knots, make knots out of. She knotted her fingers. Of ships in wind, a unit of speed equal to 1 nautical mile per hour or about 1.15 statute miles per hour. tie or fasten into a knot. Knot the shoelaces. The act of changing location from one place to another. Police controlled the motion of the crowd. Show, express or direct through movement. An optical illusion of motion produced by viewing a rapid succession of still pictures of a moving object. The cinema relies on apparent motion. A natural event that involves a change in the position or location of something. A formal proposal for action made to a deliberative assembly for discussion and vote. He made a motion to adjourn. The use of movements, especially of the hands, to communicate familiar or prearranged signals. A change of position that does not entail a change of location. The reflex motion of his eyebrows revealed his surprise. A state of change. They were in a state of steady motion. Show, express or direct through movement. He gestured his desire to leave. The use of movements, especially of the hands, to communicate familiar or prearranged signals. Motion of hands or body to emphasize or help to express a thought or feeling. Something done as an indication of intention. A political gesture. Regard with feelings of respect and reverence. Consider hallowed or exalted or be in awe of. A feeling of profound respect for someone or something. The Chinese reverence for the dead. An act showing respect, especially a bow or curtsy. A reverent mental attitude. An acknowledgement of appreciation. With the help of or owing to. Thanks to hard work it was a great success. The trace of a point whose direction of motion changes. Form a curl, curve, or kink. Turn sharply. Change direction abruptly. Curved segment, of a road or river or railroad track, etc. The property possessed by the curving of a line or surface. Bend or cause to bend. The road curved sharply. Extend in curves and turns. Form an arch or curve. Her hips curve nicely. A pitch of a baseball that is thrown with spin so that its path curves as it approaches the batter. A line on a graph representing data. The trace of a point whose direction of motion changes. Consent reluctantly. Consent reluctantly. The income or profit arising from such transactions as the sale of land or other property. Be the cause or source of. End resistance, as under pressure or force. The door yielded to repeated blows with a battering ram. Move in order to make room for someone for something. Consent reluctantly. Give or supply. This year's crop yielded 1,000 bushels of corn. Be flexible under stress of physical force. Give in, as to influence or pressure. Give over. Surrender or relinquish to the physical control of another. The quantity of something, as a commodity, that is created, usually within a given period of time. Be willing to concede. Bring in. Production of a certain amount. An amount of a product. Be fatally overwhelmed. Cause to happen or be responsible for. Cease opposition. Stop fighting. Consent reluctantly. Be fatally overwhelmed. Bend a joint. Flex your wrists. Cause a plastic object, to assume a crooked or angular form. Form a curve. Contract. Flex a muscle. Exhibit the strength of. The victorious army flexes its invincibility. The act of flexing. He gave his biceps a flex to impress the ladies. The side that is forward or prominent. A person used as a cover for some questionable activity. A group of people with a common ideology who try together to achieve certain general goals. He led the National Liberation Front. Be oriented in a certain direction, often with respect to another reference point, be opposite to. The immediate proximity of someone or something. He was well behaved in front of company. Confront bodily. The line along which opposing armies face each other. A sphere of activity involving effort. The Japanese were active last week on the diplomatic front. Meteorology. The atmospheric phenomenon created at the boundary between two different air masses. Relating to or located in the front. The front lines. The outward appearance of a person. He put up a bold front. The part of something that is nearest to the normal viewer. He walked to the front of the stage. The side that is seen or that goes first. Show, express or direct through movement.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.